given your age, you're there with Kobe growing up with Kobe. This is after the Jordan era. I know what Jordan meant to me growing up and other players, but what did Kobe mean to you?
I think, so I grew up in Seattle, and for me, and I think a lot of people my age, Ken Griffey Jr. was iconic in the sense that everyone I knew wanted to be him, basically. We all swung like him. We tried to act like him. We wore, cap backwards like him. And I think Kobe kind of occupied a similar place in the sports imagination for people of my generation, where everyone I knew just kind of wanted to play like him and act like him and be like him. I like more than Jordan for kids my age.
Yeah, and that's what I was wondering about, because, it was Be Like Mike, and then Ken Griffey Jr. came in, and, he had his presidential campaign. Like, they become a lot larger than life. And then when they lose their life, and then you try to put it in perspective. And that's the hard part with a day like today. Like, how do you pay tribute in a way? Because I said you can mourn, but you celebrate. But how do you judge, how do you juggle that fine line?
So for me, yesterday, flying into Miami, landing on a plane from Los Angeles, everyone getting the news at the same time and sort of reacting with shock, that hit me really hard. But I think what sort of, I don't want to say broke me because that feels a little overly dramatic, but really stung me was seeing how old his daughter was, seeing 2006 through 2020. Like, those are not numbers you should ever see together in that context, right? You saw the Kobe, his year in memoriam, RIP, but when I saw it applied to his 13-year-old daughter, it just kind of shook me to my core and really made me think about, in the way that death often does, it kind of makes you think about your own life and your relationships and how, it feels solipsistic, but how do I relate to this person? How does this person's life and death affect me? I think seeing that really made me reflect on my own relationship with my father. I'm a sports writer because of my dad, like a lot of women who work in sports. Because we had a similar relationship where he pushed me and sort of, transferred his passions to me, which was football in my case. And I think yesterday, seeing all of the remembrance about particularly their relationship caused me to reflect on that, to reach out to my own dad and just think about where we came from as well.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring that up, because I immediately thought of my three daughters. They're now they're in their 20s. They're now asking me about sports, because growing up they never did. But now they want to know about sports. And I go, my one daughter is like, now tell me everything I need to know about the Super Bowl, Dad. I go, no, hon. You got to do a little bit of homework first, and then come back and talk.
You didn't just jump right in.
I tried to, and then she goes, so Patrick Mahomes is good, right? And I go,
yes.
Okay, yep. We got a starting point here. But that relationship, though, with your father is powerful, and it still goes on, and that's why when you see a 13-year-old and what she was to him, like she was an extension of him. And he I think fell in love with basketball again because of her, and to go to those Laker games because she wanted to go.
I think he had a sense too that she would not only carry on his legacy but sort of exceed it in some ways. Maybe not as a player or maybe as a player, but also as someone who could be really important to the women's game. And again, not to bring it back to my own experience, but growing up, I remember my dad explaining to me very basic football terms to get me into it, his sort of distorted view of the game, which was that running backs were everything, and old school football and all the kind of dad stuff you learn. And now he has to ask me constantly for questions about things that are happening in football and changes in the game, and it's a lot of fun.
You're far more knowledgeable than your dad now.
Yeah.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.